Palawan, 400 miles west-southwest of Manila. This archipelago lies between the South China and Sulu Seas. Puerto Princesa City is in the middle of the 270-mile-long main island. Its natural harbor prompted Spaniards to settle here in the 1600s. The Spanish influence can be seen everywhere, even in her people. Puerto Princesa has a reputation for being the cleanest province in the Philippines, but it wasn't always that way. Most of the people will tell you they were influenced by Mayor Ed Hagedorn.
That we were able to change the attitude of the people. The level of awareness, commitment, direct participation has been very, very outstanding.
There are more than 500,000 acres of land on the island, some of it farmed on scattered settlements. Coastal areas feature fishing villages. This one is typical. People live in seaside bamboo houses. Dried fish is the specialty in this village. Merchants and those who prefer not to wait for Sunday's market come here to buy it. While the market in Puerto Princesa is open every day, the big day is Sunday. Nearly everyone in town turns out for it. This is not just a market, it's an event, a celebration where a shopping list is easily filled.
Actually, everything you want, vegetable, fruits, even a fish or meat section, you can find it here.
Palawan is known as the Philippines' last frontier, but even here some of the wildlife has been displaced because of shrinking habitat. When the wild crocodile population declined dramatically, the Crocodile Institute was established.
As the population expands, as the habitat is diminishing, more and more there's going to be a conflict between humans and crocodiles. So we don't want that to occur. We want to sell the idea of peaceful coexistence between crocodiles and man.
The Institute began with fewer than 100 crocodiles and now has more than 5,000. There is a plan to create crocodile sanctuaries throughout the Philippines. Another natural resource in the Philippines is the butanding. Whale sharks are found in many coastal areas. There is no other place in the world where so many are seen, perhaps because of a prominent plankton bloom in these waters. Scientists theorize whale sharks all over the world may be born in these nutrient-rich waters. Unfortunately, many whale sharks have been slaughtered by fishermen who export the product to Asian countries for handsome profits. They are still being poached, even though the Philippines Department of Agriculture has issued a law that bans the killing of whale sharks.
The penalties for that in the newest Republic Act reach up to 120,000 pesos and up to 18 months in prison.
Daniel Torres is among the researchers trying to learn more about the world's largest fish. Through video analysis, he is identifying whale sharks and tracking life cycles. Not easy since they are migratory animals. Little is known about how long they live or how age groups interact. Torres says his site-specific research is limited, but creates a pilot area where some questions might be answered. And there is hope a worldwide research community will eventually be formed.
Even if one country fails to curb killing of whale sharks, the efforts of other countries to conserve the whale shark will be up to naught.
Whale shark conservation is a race between due process and extinction. The island of Palawan possesses such great and varied natural beauty. In the distance, we have heard of an underground river. By car, it is about a 3 hour drive from Puerto Princesa. At the end of the road, we must go by boat to reach the mouth of the subterranean river. When we arrive at the beach, the local wildlife appears only mildly interested. We must walk a short distance to reach the river. The boats we take into the cave must be paddled so the wildlife inside is not disturbed.
Jay, bantayan mo yung ano ha, yung camera.
The cavern is much bigger than we imagined. Very impressive stalactite and stalagmite formations. We are careful to use only as much light as we need. Too much could harm the stalactite.
The cave is estimated to be around 60 to 20 million years old. It was formed when water gradually seeps through the tiny cracks on the limestone. And with time, the caverns become larger and larger. We have 9 species of bats. They are mostly insect-eating bats. They're estimated to be around 40 to 50,000 bats that live inside the cave.
Fed by freshwater streams, the river runs 4 miles through caverns carved over time. It is as though you were visiting an underground museum, something brilliantly conceived and carried out by a gifted artist. So captivating is this underground river, you lose all sense of time. Only our fading light reminds us it is time to go. Nature's hand once again creates a masterpiece. We are told of another spectacular place called El Nido. We will travel north to see it. El Nido is in the northern reaches of the island of Palawan. With the exception of the locals and a few adventurers willing to take the extra step to get here, El Nido remains a well-kept secret. The El Nido community has recognized the need to care for this place and has, at some personal sacrifice, agreed to become part of what has become a national preserve. We have come here to paddle an area known as the lagoons, the limestone formations created 250 million years ago from thick layers of coral deposits. The lagoons are a natural wonder, created when the roof of a cave collapsed.
I remember the first time I came into the big lagoon towards evening, and we just had a dinghy. And we were sitting here, we had the engine off, and it was just so quiet. And that was the really first time that I appreciated what nature is.
Eduardo comes often. He says the lagoons are a spiritual place where dreaming comes easy.
You feel you feel of just romantic, very romantic place,
and you can take, you can imagine that you are in somewhere while you are going inside of this lagoon.
It's the total package that makes it beautiful. It's seeing diversity, experiencing diversity. That's what makes El Nido.
The sea cliffs of El Nido are not only magnificent to look at, they provide a living for a handful of risk takers. Shallow caves in the limestone are homes to swiftlets, the little bird that makes the valued bird's nest that the Chinese pay so handsomely for. Men risk their lives climbing the faces of the cliffs in search of it. Julie Badajos uses only a short rope and bamboo pole with an attached fork to lasso rocks. No high-tech climbing gear here.
I use the rope if the position is very hard, but they have a simple position to climb. No need the rope.
Julie calculates each move as he scales the sheer cliff, sometimes hundreds of feet. His is a dangerous profession. He did fall once from about 50 feet, but he was over water that time and lived to talk about it. Julie has followed in his father's footsteps. The bird's nest caves on this cliff belong to him. He has laid claim to them, much like a prospector would with a mine. By paying an annual municipal tax, he retains the rights to the same caves his father owned. Julie is pretty sure the cave he climbs for today will have bird's nest. He has been watching the swiftlets come and go.
The bird every afternoon they comes inside because he make that bird's nest in the night, not in the morning.
The gelatin-like bird's nest is made from strands of the bird's saliva, which sticks to the walls of the cave. It is said to have medicinal value. Julie can earn 1,700 pesos per nest. A fisherman could work a whole month for less money. Julie says when he is no longer young enough and strong enough to climb the cliffs, he too will probably become a fisherman. He could retain the rights to the caves by continuing to pay the municipal tax, but he would need someone else to do the climbing.
I have a baby, so my kids they also to continue to climb the caves to get the bird's nest.
El Nido means the nest, and men in this part of Palawan's last frontier continue to risk their lives to climb for it. The song welcomes all who come to these distant shores. It suggests we linger just long enough to know its beauty, and that we retain a special place in our hearts for this place they call the last frontier.
Nandito natin ay mawiling tunay at pinamalingon. Ang Palawan, ang Palawan, ang Palawan.